Alright everyone, hello. Today we're going to be going over adding and subtracting fractions. So the key thing to do when adding and subtracting fractions is finding a common denominator, which is going to be one of the most important things that we talk about today. Alright, and just to recap, say I gave you the fraction 3 over 10. Our 3 would be our numerator. So our numerator is the top number, and our 10 would be the denominator, which is our bottom number. It's the same if I were to give you 7 over 11, or if I were to give you 136 over 2. 7 would be our numerator and 11 would be the denominator, and then 136 would also be our numerator and 2 would be the denominator. It really doesn't matter what the fraction is. And then say you had a whole number, so say there was a 6 in front of this fraction, that 6 would be known as your whole number. So let's go into a few examples. Alright, so let's try to add this these two fractions. So we have 3 over 6 plus 1 over 4. The first thing that we have to do is find, again, our common denominator. And I don't know if I actually went over what that means. The word common means the same. Okay? So that means I need to find a number that is the same between 6 and 4. So that means I need to find a number that we can multiply by 6, or to get that number, and 4 to get that number. Alright, the easiest way to do that is to multiply our two denominators. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify my two denominators, 6 and 4, and I'm going to multiply them. 6 times 4, which is 24. Alright, so I know that 24 is going to be our new denominator. But that's not how we're gonna, we can't just end there. What we have to do is we have to find out how many times we multiplied each fraction to get a denominator of 24. Alright? If you ever see these brackets, that just means multiply the whole thing. So, how many times do we have to multiply 6 to get to 24? And that is 4 times. How many times do we have to multiply 4 to get to 24? Is 6. And a little kind of cheating way to do it is to look at your opposite denominator. So I got this 4 from my 4 down here, and I got this 6 from my 6 down here. So that's a little cheat code if you want to call it that. Now what I have to do is essentially multiply my fractions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 4 times 3. What is 4 times 3? 4 times 3 is 12 over 4 times 6 is 24. Which is our 24 over here. Plus, now we have to do 6 times 1. Alright, 6 times 1. 6 times 1 I know is 6 over also 24. You can get that 24 by saying, 6 times 4 is 24, or just looking over here. This 24 is the same here and here. So now we have common denominators. What we can do is add across while keeping the denominator. So our denominator is going to stay 24. So what is 12 plus 16? 12 plus 6. And that is 18. But we're not done there. Now what we have to do is simplify. I'm going to highlight this. Alright, so we have 18 over 24. Okay, so how we simplify is we have to find a number that we can divide both our numerator and our denominator by. And what I notice is that we can divide them both by 6. If you're skip counting by 6s, you get 18 and 24. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. So I'm going to divide both of them by 6. Now what is that? 18 divided by 6. Well, 6, 12, 18. 3 numbers, 3. 24 divided by 6, 6, 12, 18, 24. 3 over 4. There's nothing that I can divide 3 by, that I can also divide 4 by. So I know that this 3 over 4 is my answer. And if you want to rewrite that, you can go ahead and do that. So 3 over 6 plus 1 over 4 equals 3 over 4. Let's do another example for adding. Alright, let's do this one. 3 over 4 plus 5 over 7. The first thing I'm going to do is multiply by denominators to get a common denominator. So I'm going to do 4 times 7, which is 28. So what I'm going to do immediately is I'm going to kind of rewrite my equation, all with a common denominator of 28. Okay, now I have to find my numerators. Remember, we do that by multiplying our whole fraction. How many times do we have to multiply 4 to get to 7? Again, you can just look at the opposite denominator, so 7. And same for our second fraction, I'm just going to look at the opposite denominator, which is 4. 7 times 3 is 21. And 4 times 5 is 20. And then we already have our 28s for 7 times 4 and 4 times 7. Alright, and don't forget these brackets here, they just mean multiply. Alright, now we have to add across. What is 21 plus 20? That is 41. Alright, now this one, there are no common factors between 41 and 28. So 41 over 28 is our final answer. And so if you want to rewrite that, you can. 3 over 4 plus 5 over 7 equals 41 over 28. Now, your denominator here does not have to be one of our original denominators. It can be its whole different denominator. That is a-okay. How about we move on to subtraction now? Alright, let's try this one. Now, it looks a little bit different than the ones that we were doing before because they're mixed fractions. The first thing we have to do is convert them into improper fractions. Now, if you don't know how to do that, don't worry. You can go back onto my page and find the video right before this one. It is all about converting fractions. So, let's convert this. 4 times 12 is 48. And plus 1 is 49 over 12. Minus 1 times 8 is 8. Plus 3 is 11 over 8. Alright, now we have to find our common denominator. This is just like anyone that we've done now. Alright, so I've got to identify my two denominators, which I'm going to highlight this so that we know this is the one that we're working with. 12 times 8, which is 96. So I know that 96 is going to be our new denominator, so I'm going to set this up as this. 96, 96, 96. Alright? So, How many times did I multiply 12 to get to 96? 8. Again, we can just look at our opposite side to as a little cheat sheet. Not cheat sheet, just a little cheater. And then same with 11 and 12. So for this, you might need to break out your calculator. What is 49 times 8? That gives you 392. And then 11 times 12, which is 132. Now we have to subtract our numerators just like normal. So 392 minus 132 is 260. Okay, I'm actually going to redraw that 6 because it looks a little bit small. There we go. Now we have to take 260 over 96, and we have to simplify it. Now I notice that they're both even numbers, so I'm going to divide them both by 2. And I am using calculator for this, so 260 divided by 2 is 130. Over 96 divided by 2 is 48. And I notice that these are also both even numbers, so I'm going to divide them by 2 again. 130 divided by 2 is 65. And 48 divided by 2 is 24. Alright, and I know that there are no common factors between 65 and 24. So our answer is 65 over 24, and I can rewrite that as a mixed number, or a mixed fraction. So I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to move all this up real quick. Okay, now let me rewrite it. 65 over 24. I'm going to turn this into a mixed fraction. I know that 24 can fit into 65 2 times. And 24 times 2 is 12. So I'm going to have 65 minus 12. Sorry, that should not be 12, that should be 48. My bad. 65 minus 48 is 17. So I know that my final answer is 17 over 24. Alright, now this is definitely more of the challenging equation, but we worked through it together. So I'm going to rewrite my entire thing as 1 over 12 minus 3 over 8 equals 17 over 24. Give yourselves a pat on the back because this was definitely one of the more challenging ones. I'm going to do one more example that's a little bit easier now. Alright, let's do this last example. We have 4 over 6 minus 1 over 3. My first step is to find a common denominator, so I'm going to multiply my two denominators, which are 6 and 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Alright, so I know that my new denominator is 18, so let me set that up. Okay, now we have to find out what we multiply by. We can do that by using the opposite denominator. 3 times 4 is 12. And 1 times 6 is just 6. What is 12 minus 6? That is 6. Now, I know that I can simplify this further. I can actually divide these both by 6 to give me 6 divided by 6 equals 1, and 18 divided by 6 is 3. So my answer is 1 over 3. And I'm going to rewrite this in red. 4 over 6 minus 1 over 3 equals 1 over 3. And that is how you solve this one. And that is it, everybody. I hope that you found this video helpful for adding and subtracting fractions. If you would consider liking and subscribing, that would be much, much appreciated. Have an amazing day, everybody. Bye.